What up? Hello. So it is actually Saturday now. I've decided to switch when I do my weekly wrap ups to Saturdays because Sundays now are Stephen and I moved. If you can tell, this is a different background. Sundays are currently going to be Aurora goes and does her laundry at her mom's house, where she doesn't have to give her quarters. So I won't really have time to do that because when I come back, it's D&D time. So that is that. It is Saturday, June 26th. This is actually going to be a reading wrap up for the past 2 weeks because last week I did not have time and I just kind of skimmed over it. But I did read five books these past couple weeks. One of them was 4 books in one, and that is why there's not much being read. That is why it took me so long. But first up, I read The Curse of Camp Cold Lake by R.L. Stine. This is a Goosebumps book. This is number 56. This follows this really annoying little girl named Sarah who is going to Camp Cold Lake but decides to spend all of her time making her cabin mates hate her. But then she ends up going to this situation where a girl is dead and there's ghosts coming on, and it's okay. I mean, R.L. Stine does good with his ghost books, but the main character is so annoying. But it was alright. It was decent. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Not my favorite Goosebumps book, but look at that cover. It's phenomenal. Then I read some classic American literature, and that is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. This is one of the Beats novels. This is a story of a man, Sal, I believe his name is Sal. Sal Paradise, yep, who just keeps hitchhiking around the United States. There's this guy, Dean Moriarty. This is a very biographical novel. Pretty much every person in this book you can connect to a real person that Jack Kerouac was around. Sal is obviously Jack. Dean Moriarty is Neil Cassidy. Carlo Marx is Allen Ginsberg. So all the Beat guys do make an appearance in here. It was very interesting. When I read this, I read it more for the writing than any plot or grand philosophical ideas. But it is definitely an ode to America, and it's very good. It's very interesting. I did enjoy it. I do want to reread it at some point. I do need to reread it at some point, but for now, I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read another R.L. Stine book because this was the week of R.L. Stine. That was Bad Dreams by R.L. Stine. This is one of the Fear Street books. This is about a girl who, her and her family move into this new house, and her sister just does not like her because her sister is very jealous of her because their main character is, she's pretty, she's got a hot boyfriend, she's good at swimming, and her sister is none of those things. And so then as they move to this new house, they see this really cool 4-poster bed in Maggie's room. Maggie, the main character, and Maggie's like, "Wow, that's cool," and her sister's like, "Of course you get the bed." And then Maggie starts getting these awful dreams about a girl getting murdered, and then people start getting stabbed and stuff and pushed downstairs. And I will let you know, you will not guess the twist. I had a couple of wild out there guesses, and I didn't even come close. It was okay. It was not a bad one. It was a kind of a fun one. It had that wild, completely out there part of it that does make me like it. That is kind of what I'm looking for with these Fear Street books, is something that is just so fucking out there that it just goes, makes me just go did not expect that one. And this one had that. Give it 3 out of 5 stars. It was decent. And then I reread the Bachman Books. So this is a set of 4 early novels by Stephen King, writing as Richard Bachman. This has Rage, The Long Walk, Roadwork, and The Running Man. I love all these novels. Rage is one of my favorites. I'm forever kind of sad that it's out of print because it's a fantastic novel. I understand why it's out of print, but it is, if you want to read Rage, you have to either get an older edition of the Bachman Books or pay $400 for a Bachman paperback. Rage is about, if you did not know, a high school student who shoots up his algebra class, and they have this they call it a bizarre show and tell on the back there. And I enjoy it. I think it's very interesting. This is a book that Stephen King wrote actually when he was in high school, which is ridiculous because it's amazing. I love the characters. I love how it goes. I think it's really interesting. The Long Walk is obviously my favorite book of all time. I've talked about it 7,000 times. But basically every year 100 boys walk down from the border between Maine and Canada until there's only one of them left. I love the characters. Like, this is the first time that I've read The Long Walk since I started teaching, and I teach high school, and so like that's the age of these long walkers, and so like I'm thinking about these kids that I teach in this situation. I'm like, holy shit, these are children. So long story short, this is the first time The Long Walk made me cry all the way, so that's fun. Road Work is about a man who lives in a house that is about to be demolished for a highway extension, and his workplace is also going to be demolished, and so it's him having trouble accepting this new reality and deciding to take matters into his own hands. I did not like Road Work for the longest time. I enjoy it quite a bit now. It is a tragedy in all kind of forms, but it's a good one. And then The Running Man. The Running Man is interesting because it takes place in a year that is now very close. It takes place in 2025. The main character was born in August of 1997, which is literally a month after I was born, so that's kind of cool. But The Running Man is a dystopian. It's really if Stephen King did 1984, but The Running Man is Ben Richards, and he is going on this game show called The Running Man, where he gets money for every hour that he stays ahead of people who are hunting him, and it is just got the most delicious ending. I like it a lot. Very fun book, made into a god-awful movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 80s. If you've seen the movie, the book is nothing like it, so there is that. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars because I loved everything about it. Then I read Silent Night 2 by R.L. Stine. This is another Fear Street book. This one's a super chiller. This follows a bitch named Riva, who is like, she is just a brat, and somebody wants to kidnap her, and it's honestly not even that fun. I was a little bit disappointed with this one because most of the time with your Fear Street books, they're just ridiculous, and that makes them really fun. But this one was just kind of meh. I didn't like Riva. I didn't like any of the captures. Everybody was an idiot, and there was no fun twist. So I gave this 2 stars. But yeah, currently, where is it? I am reading some more Stephen King. I'm reading The Drawing of the Three. This is a reread. This is the second book in the Dark Tower series. I love this book so much. I also love this edition. It's a UK edition. It is the New English Library edition. It is very nice and easy to read. I like it a lot. But yeah, that's what I'm reading currently. So these are the books that I read actually in the past 2 weeks, but that is all for today. I will talk to you tomorrow, not tomorrow, sometime later, and goodbye.